Hi, my name is Imran Haque and welcome to another episode of The Voice of a Leader, the series where I interview high-achieving leaders, try and find out how they got to where they are. Let's do this. Someone in your workplace own a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW, they only make like $30,000 a year? Or is there someone who's been working for like 10 years straight without taking one day annual leave? These could be symptoms of fraudulent activity, so be aware. This week, I caught up with Dean Newlan, who is a forensic accounting specialist at McGrathNicol. Dean, welcome to The Voice of a Leader.
Thank you.
I recently read a KPMG survey on fraud and bribery. I think it was based in Australia and New Zealand. And it mentioned that there was a rise in a lot of senior executives committing fraud. And there's also a rise in people colluding or working together and committing fraud. So based on this information, you could potentially say that, say, a partner or partners of a Big Four accounting firm could be committing fraud like as we speak. So based on this, if you go on from this, what's some important symptoms of fraud, and more importantly, how do we prevent it?
Well, symptoms of fraud, I think, are around behaviours of people within the organisation. And in my experience, those behaviours are there to be seen and to be recognised by people within the organisation, but often they're not recognised. If you look for those human behaviours and you respond appropriately, then you can pick up frauds in many cases early. I think the way to prevent that kind of behaviour is to be aware of it, recognising that fraud is a people problem, and knowing that you've got to deal with the behavioural issues as well as the accounting and the business issues.
How come the behaviour's not picked up all the time?
People are not looking for it, and they're naturally trusting of other people, and they would like to believe in people and think the best of other people. So when things that I would regard as suspicious occur, some people aren't necessarily recognising those symptoms.
And what are some things to prevent it if fraud does occur?
Preventing fraud is about understanding what the risks are. So now there's a lot of good guidance out there in terms of helping organisations to prevent this kind of behaviour. Some of the key things that people can do is look for the risks, understand what those risks are, and then treat those risks in the parlance of the risk management guidance, so that those risks are mitigated. Raising awareness within the organisation, and I guess one of the really key things is to open up the channels of communication so that people who are concerned about the behaviours of their colleagues feel comfortable in reporting them through.
Like a
whistleblower line would be the last resort, but having other alternative avenues before people have to get to the whistleblower situation.
Okay, good. So you've worked in a lot of different firms. I think you were in Victoria Police for 10 years, KPMG for 10 years as well.
17 years KPMG.
Oh, 17, oh wow. So you're a long-term person.
Yeah, that's right. And 10 years of McGrathNicol.
And 10 years McGrathNicol, so altogether more than 30 years experience, almost. That's longer than I've been on this planet, it's very good. To date, what has been, say, the dodgiest or the worst fraud crime that you've seen?
The best case study that I could nominate is the Clive Peters matter that we were involved in a few years ago now, but it is very instructive in terms of how this kind of behaviour occurs and how it's allowed to occur because of internal control weakness or failure, and how once it is occurring, it's very difficult to detect.
All right. Was there a big loss involved? A lot of money taken out?
$19 million.
$19 million, oh my gosh.
Lost to Clive Peters. Clive Peters being a public company, and where this fraud was a factor, an important factor in the demise of the public company.
Did you were you able to determine how long it took for this money to be taken out?
It went on for approximately 2 years.
2 years
before it was found.
Oh my gosh! Is this still ongoing?
It was found in, I can't think what year it was now, but some years ago now. And as soon as it was found, it was investigated, and the employee concerned was stood down.
There was one
pending
person
the
involved.
One person, no collusion. And in fact, interestingly, we don't typically find collusion is a factor in workplace fraud. And the reason for that is that people don't need to collude. So if you don't need to collude, you won't collude.
Yeah, did you find out the reasons why in this case fraud occurred?
The motivation was the thrill of doing property deals. There was no intention to get rich quick by doing property deals. The person concerned was motivated by a desire to get the thrill out of doing a property deal.
Just thrill.
Just the thrill. That was a thrill-seeking activity.
Oh, wow.
And buying and selling real estate and turning it over on a regular basis gave this person a buzz that they kept on going back for. So
unbelievable. So you're also teaching forensic accounting at Melbourne University
Yes.
and CPA. I was going to ask, how do you actually structure the program? Because I was thinking if you teach fraud, people may actually get an idea how to commit it.
Yeah, a lot of our clients do raise that issue. We're talking about raising awareness. And they're concerned that we might be giving people ideas about how to commit fraud. And also when we're in risk assessment mode as well, because when we're assessing fraud risk, we're diving into the internal control weaknesses that people might seek to exploit. My view on that is that by raising awareness and by doing a proper risk-based risk assessment and a fraud control plan, you're actually closing all of those avenues that people could be using anyway. So even though we might be raising internal control weakness, at the same time we're giving the company what they need to close the loophole.
You haven't had any cases in the past where a student decided to put it into practice?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right, good. So you're safe.
Yep.
All right, excellent. So actually, when I continued reading that survey from KPMG, it said that fraud is, unfortunately, an area that's growing year by year. So this is probably an area that will continue to grow. So for those people out there who are keen to become a forensic accounting specialist, such as yourself, what's some things you would tell them?
I think a good strategy would be not to specialise too early in your career. So I think getting a more general experience base before pursuing a forensic accounting role, I think that would be important. So we're talking there about auditing, accounting, some sort of business management role, getting some commercial experience before you specialise into forensic accounting. I think specialising too early is a mistake in any discipline. So.
And is there any further studies people can do to try and get into forensics?
Yeah, there are studies that people can do. There have been some postgraduate courses. Wollongong University, for example, for many years offered a Master of Forensic Accounting. That is no longer offered this year. Or in fact, I think for the last couple of years. University of Melbourne offers some courses. Where I'm teaching, with a little plug there. And there are other courses out there available. But I think as important as the structured learning in forensic accounting, getting the appropriate experience is also important as well. So if you're going into a firm that offers taxation, accounting, auditing and what have you, so a large accounting firm, looking for opportunities to work with the forensic team while you are getting that broad-based experience, but without specialising too early. So I think it's probably a mistake from the personal point of view to become a graduate recruit into a forensic operation, even though there are forensic teams that do take graduates. We don't. We don't, because we prefer people to have that broad-based experience before they come into forensic.
And just lastly, I heard there's a challenging part of being a forensic accountant. So if you're required in court and you have to give, say, expert witness testimony, sometimes you can get really grilled by the opposition. Is that true?
That's true.
Yeah.
But suffering cross-examination like that, where you're feeling very uncomfortable in the witness box, that comes from having done a less than ideal job in preparing your report. So if you've done the work and you've written the report yourself with appropriate assistance, then you shouldn't fear anything from cross-examination. If you haven't done the work yourself and you're unprepared when you come into the court, then yes, you'll have a tough time in the witness box.
No problem. Dean, thank you again for joining me on The Voice of a Leader and giving a brief insight into your role as a forensic accounting specialist.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this episode of The Voice of a Leader. As mentioned by Dean, if you're keen to pursue a career in forensic accounting, you can't just jump straight in there. You have to try another area of accounting, such as audit or tax. But you will eventually get there. Remember, if you or someone you know is a high-achieving leader, would like to have an interview with me, please visit my website, answer 3 questions, and send an email to thevoiceofaleader@gmail.com. Please also remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page so you can be kept up to date with this series. Thanks again for watching this show. See you next time.